Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching. My name is Paige and welcome back to another Bridal Diaries episode. If you're new to my channel and have no idea who I am, hi, my name is Paige. I've been engaged for 2.5 years. I'm a July 2024 bride. I am less than 6 months away from my wedding and I am here on YouTube to show you guys my entire wedding planning process, bridal journey. I started a series on my channel called the Bridal Diaries series where I basically show you guys beginning to end the whole wedding planning process. I've showed you guys packing my bridesmaid proposal boxes. I've showed you guys my bridal proposal brunch, little vlogs here and there. I do have a wedding dress try on video that I'm not posting until after the wedding, but it's a good time. So this is Bridal Diaries episode 5 and this is basically going to be a 6-month check-in on where we are in the wedding planning process, what we've completed up until now, what's pending, some frequently asked questions, all the above. Is just going to be a chit chat with you guys because the real planning really starts 6 months before. Now into the wedding, it's going to be crunch time, but it's going to be so much fun. So with that being said, the last time I checked in with you guys was back in the summer where we were about a year away from the wedding. We were planning where to get flowers and there was a lot of things up in the air, but I will say we have solidified a bunch since then, especially this past winter and going into January. So let's recap all of that, where I found the pain points, what was easy, all that fun stuff. This calls for a big Stanley of water. So the first thing we've definitely locked down since the last time I've checked in with you guys has been flowers and decor. That was a little bit of a tricky one for me because that was definitely something I had no idea about. How much flowers cost, decor packages, how it's all arranged for the ceremony and the reception, all that fun stuff. But this is how we ended up. We ended up going with a company that deals with flowers and decor. So we basically sourced all of our flowers for the ceremony and the reception, all of our centerpieces, the head table arrangements, the ceremony arrangements, bouquets, all that fun stuff we've arranged with a company that also does decor as well. So think candles, backdrops, all those little things that you don't think of, this company takes care of. In Toronto, there's a lot of those, but I think one main decision you have to think about when you're a bride and planning your wedding is your overall vision and how you want to source it. So for my POV, I wanted everything in one place that's going to be an easy setup and tear down. And I also went with a company that works closely with my month of and day of wedding planner. So they know each other, they know the flow of how things are supposed to go on the day of the wedding. So for me, that was an easy decision. But if you're more of a DIY bride, maybe you want to buy flowers in bulk and make your own arrangements, or buy candles, candlesticks, vases from another source and piece it all together yourself. Totally up to you. I just know myself, and yes, flowers are important to me, but I don't want to be doing that myself. So I decided to source everything in one place. It was easier to get a package that way and sort of negotiate. So that's what we ended up doing. Our company also is doing our floor wrap for the dance floor, and we might go with them for a potential seating chart. So we'll see how that goes. Right now we have a lockdown for flowers and decor, and that is great. All locked in. Super excited. That was definitely the hardest part of the summer thus far, but we locked it down around the fall time, so September, October. So I'd say around a year in advance you'd want to book your flowers down because they do fill up quickly, and the closer you get to the date, the more expensive it becomes. And the type of flowers you choose also depends the price, the time of year you're getting married, what's in season, what's not. It all depends where they source their flowers. That was an interesting one. Something else that Matt and I completed over the fall winter time, you probably saw in my vlogs throughout the past couple months, but we actually completed marriage classes. So we are getting married in the Catholic Church, and at least in Toronto where I live, if you want to get married in the Catholic Church, you have to complete a marriage preparation course. I was honestly super excited about it. I mean, it was kind of easy for us because it was over Zoom, so we didn't have to travel anywhere to do classes in person. It was all over Zoom. I know there's places where you could do like a weekend crash course. We decided to spread it out over 6 weeks. So for 6 weeks, every Tuesday for 2 hours, we completed a marriage preparation course. It's not religious in that sense, but it really does prepare you for what it's like to be in a marriage, to live together, the hardships you may encounter, all that stuff. It was very, very insightful. I will have to say, Matt and I truly enjoyed that, and we left there with a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and it was super fun. We met new people. It was great. So that's something we had to complete. Obviously, if you're doing a ceremony not in the church, that could look a little different for you, or maybe you're not required to, but that's something we had to do. We literally had to complete the course and get a certificate and hand it back to our officiant, and they won't marry us without that certificate, along with the marriage license. So that was something that we had to do, but I really enjoyed it. And I will say, going into January and having the 6-month countdown, we're really happy that we completed that sooner rather than later, knowing that we're both busy with our jobs and planning the nitty-gritty details of our wedding. We're glad we just got that out of the way when we could. Something also really exciting that we locked down around October, November was the bridesmaids dresses. I think you guys saw that in my vlogs too, going to the store and stuff, but we officially did that. It's done. The bridesmaids dresses are absolutely stunning. Can't wait for you guys to see them. So I actually have all of my bridesmaids matching, wearing the same dress. They're going to be wearing the same dress, the shoes, everything. And my sister, who is my maid of honor, will have the same color dress but a different style. Since she is my sister, I wanted her to stand out a little bit more, and she looks absolutely stunning in the dress, so that is amazing. My mother got her dress as well. She's gonna look like a queen. I literally cannot wait. So all of the bride tribe is tied together really nicely. Next up on the list, which Matt is completing right now, is groomsmen suits. We've pretty much picked out what we wanted and got a groomsmen suit package, which is really common, but now it's just about going to the store and getting them measured, so that's gonna happen. Oh my god, pause, the sun is out. This is the best thing ever. Hey sun, it's been a while. If you live in Toronto or Canada in general, you know that it's literally gloomy all the time, especially in January, February, so this sun is glorious right now. So yeah, that was something that we're planning out next and have gone to the store and looked around. Now it's just finalizing it, pinning it down, so that's happening. Something that we also just completed, but Matt kind of carried the heavy lifting on that front, is booking limo and transportation. We know we wanted some sort of party bus because we like to dance and we have a lot of traveling during our wedding day just between the different locations. So not being crammed and having just like a nice space to travel in was really important to us. So we did end up locking that down, but something I will say was a little bit difficult when locking down the limo is that the limo wants some sort of timeline as to when your events are and the different locations and just like how long it's going to take from location to location, because that determines how long you need the limo service for. Something else that we learned is that these limo companies are not just specifically for weddings. They do a lot of external events as well. So living in a major city like Toronto, these limo companies, you know, bring corporate parties from place to place. They bring big parties to baseball games and concerts and things like that. So having that timeline for them is really important. Having an actual timeline, we have a ballpark of what's going to happen, but actual like timestamps is something that we still need to figure out. Like I said, we do have an idea, but we're really waiting to sit down with the wedding planner to truly look into timestamps and say like, okay, this is the time we need to be ready to go to the ceremony. This is what time pictures are. We have to be by the reception by this time. The nitty-gritties we're still working out, so I'd say just have a ballpark idea of your general timeline, because that's going to determine your limo service, your costing, things like that. But if you have a general idea, you should be good. Something else super excited that we just locked down, which was something I was probably most excited for, was picking out our wedding cake. It was actually such a super fun process and something that wasn't as stressful and a fun part of the wedding planning process. So we actually locked down our cake last week, 2 weeks ago. Time is slipping away from me, but that was so fun because not only do you get to see the different kinds of cakes and designs, you actually get to do a cake tasting as well, which is of course the best part. Who doesn't want to eat free cake? So we had our cake tasting. It was super fun. We ended up going with a company that truly specializes in wedding cakes. So that's going to be super amazing. A lot of companies have already done like so many wedding cakes, so I'm sure they have something that you're probably looking for. But if you want something super specific, come with a picture. I did that and our company is able to replicate that to the T, so I'm super excited for that. And quick tip on that, just stay aware of delivery fees and make sure you're not paying through your nose in delivery fees, because obviously you don't want your delivery fee to cost more than your cake. There's also different options between having a fully real cake or a partially fake cake or an entire fake cake if you want. There's so many different options that you could choose from based on your vibe, your aesthetic, and what's most important to you as a bride, as a couple. Let me know if this has happened to you in the comments as well. I have never had wedding cake at a wedding. Make it make sense. I have never had wedding cake at a wedding. I always have the plated dessert that comes after dinner, but when it comes to the actual wedding cake, I did not eat it. At my friend's wedding, didn't get to taste the cake. At my brother-in-law's wedding, did not get to taste the cake. Like, I don't know what's going on. I did have my brother-in-law's cake after the fact the next day, and it was delicious. But at an actual wedding, I've never had a cake, which is so weird. But anyways, last thing I will say that's wedding related, but not totally tied to the wedding, is just overall bachelorette planning and bridal shower planning. My mom and mother-in-law are actually planning my bridal shower, which is super exciting. I'm in it too. Like, I'm not just like leaving them to plan it all. I'm definitely helping, but I'm super excited for that. My bridal shower is in May, so I'll definitely be vlogging that. And guys, the bachelorette is happening. It's happening. TBD on location. I sort of want to keep it a surprise until closer to, but let's just say it's going to be lit. It is going to be so much fun. I cannot wait. I'm smiling thinking about it because that's like the next thing I'm looking forward to. That's like my next vacation, so to say. So that's gonna be so fun. My sister is planning it, and if you know my sister, she's a type A personality, so we know it's going to be a good one. I totally forgot, guys. One last thing I did book in before the holidays was our photo booth. Photo booths just get like super expensive, and something I've learned about weddings is the sooner you book, the cheaper you're gonna get, because prices do go up every single calendar year. So as you guys know, I booked my venue even in 2022 for my 2024 wedding because I locked down a cheaper price, and basically everything, the sooner you book it, the cheaper it's going to be. So we did lock down the photo booth. That's super exciting. And we also locked down our photo permits for our actual wedding photos. Basically, I think anywhere you go, if it's a public space or even a private space, you're gonna need a photography permit from the owner of the space. So we got that, we locked it down. And I would say, again, lock that down earlier because I feel like there's only so many locations you can take pictures. So unless it's like a free public space where you don't need a permit, you're going to be dealing with a lot of people walking around. So lock down your permit, I'd say. I'd say do that 6 months. I jumped the gun a little bit because, guys, this was actually like a crazy moment in my wedding planning process. But my dream location for our wedding photos was actually completely booked up. I thought it was because we were too late to the game, but it honestly turns out that that location has been fully booked for like a year in advance. So there was truly nothing else I could do in that sense. We tried, they literally couldn't squeeze us in. That was a little bit heartbreaking. Now I'm totally good. We found an alternative that has the same vibe and I'm so happy. But I would say just be prepared for the unexpected and have a backup plan. For that photo location and that photo permit, it took me 3 days to find a backup plan. It was very stressful and we figured it out. It was only stressful because like the dream of what I had envisioned in my head, like knowing that that wasn't gonna happen, really sucked. But now I'm happy. So my advice, just stay calm, guys. It will work out in the end, but happy I locked that down. So now that we're officially less than 6 months away, I'm literally like 5 months and a week away from the wedding. Here are some things coming down the pipeline that are going to be occupying our time. Essentially all of our DIYs now, anything that Matt and I have decided to build ourselves is something that's going to be coming down the pipeline. Essentially every weekend is going to be dedicated to doing some sort of project. Matt has to get his suit figured out. We think he's going to do a custom either suit or tux, so he has to get fitted for that and choose what he wants. And when he goes, he'll probably bring the dads with him as well, just to do it all in one and hopefully get some sort of package deal. So that's coming down the pipeline. But you know what, I will say guys are way easier than girls. They literally just have to figure out the color and the material, and the rest goes from there, so we're not too worried about that. Speaking on outfits, I do have to figure out outfits for our flower girl and 2 ring boys. I don't want to do that too far in advance because these kids are growing every single day, so I kind of want to lock that down maybe in April or May. I want to give myself some time, but I don't want to jump the gun on that because it would suck to get a dress or a little suit that they're not going to fit into. So stay tuned on that. Something else that I have to do that Matt and I have to figure out is overall music for the ceremony and reception. We do have a DJ, but we were sort of looking into the ceremony music, either if we were going to do like a harpist or a string quartet or an organist. We really do not know. So stay tuned on that. Sorry if I'm overexposed right now, but I am basking in the sun. We also want to decide if we want to do any live music for our reception as well, just to bring the vibes during cocktail hour. So we still have to inquire and think on that. I don't even know where to find musicians. So if you're a musician in Toronto, hit me up. And then one last thing smaller again that I'm going to do a little bit closer to is just overall accessories for the bridesmaids. So think shoes and jewelry I still have to figure out. So it's going to take some research on that front, but not too worried. We're dealing with myself here and I know where to find all the fun stuff. I'm thinking Amazon, Steve Madden, places like that. If you're planning a wedding or about to plan a wedding, I really hope this was helpful to you. I know when I first got engaged, I was looking for information and I couldn't really find any. So if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm happy to help and let's support each other through this time. And with that, I did go to Instagram and told you guys to ask me any questions you did have, and I did get some questions, so let's go ahead and answer those. Something that one of you guys asked is, what's something that's not worth the splurge? And that was a pretty easy one for me. I think signage is something that I think is not worth the splurge, and like seating charts and things like that. So I had a vision for a seating chart. When I saw the price, it was absolutely crazy. So for my seating chart, I sort of wanted like a 3D, I can't even explain it, but I wanted it 3D and it was going to have our pictures and it was so unique and cool and amazing. Guys, when I tell you this seating chart was over $1,000 for something that people look at once to find their seat and never look at again, and that's going to end up in the garbage. That was just insane to me. That was not my vibe. So now I'm trying to find just another version of a seating chart that I like that's going to be in budget, because that was just too crazy. I refuse to spend over $1,000 on something that hardly any of the guests are going to be in contact after like 1 minute. So that was something for sure. And I think just overall signage, Matt and I are going to be DIYing a lot of the stuff. So our card box we're going to be DIYing, our signature drink signage we're going to be DIYing, our table signs. Most venues do come with table signs, but if you want your own like twist on it, you sort of had to source your own. So we actually found some from AliExpress that worked for us, that were very much in budget. So if you give yourself time, like a couple months for those to come in, you could totally order from AliExpress and it'll come in. That's what I'd say for sure, because even if you go with someone local, I totally understand that these local businesses need to make their money, but it's very, very expensive. And again, for something that no one's going to really interact with for more than like a couple minutes, not my vibe. So I would say that for sure. There's a lot. My one piece of advice, and I've said this before, is as a bride, really think about what's important to you and maybe what's not so important to you that you can let go. Yes, the little details are important, but you sort of had to pick and choose what's worth spending your money on and what you're going to leave a lot of budget for, and something that you could sort of let go a little bit for the overall day, if that makes any sense at all. Another question I got for you guys is, what is something you're most stressed about and what's something you're most excited about? I think those go a little bit hand in hand for me. When I think about our wedding day in general, I get excited and jittery for the fact that I'm marrying my best friend and my soulmate. But on the flip side of that, I get a lot of anxiety. I've always been one to stress about anticipation of things. So like my driver's test, for example, I was nervous, had anxiety for a week in advance. Writing tests when I was younger, same deal. Even when my best friend got married, I had to do a reading at the church I have no problem with public speaking, but the anticipation of having to walk up and give the speech, I had anxiety. And I felt so bad that I had anxiety and was bringing that on to my best friend, even though she didn't really care. So I just think the anticipation of the morning of getting ready and like not seeing Matt until I get to the ceremony, that makes me really anxious. Not so much stressed, but like just nervous, because that's just me. Like, all of my friends know, my sister knows that the day of, I'm gonna be so nervous. So the vibes on the morning of just have to be really high. Music, mimosas, like all the fun stuff. Like, I basically want it to be like you're having a sleepover party with your best friends, because that's what's gonna keep me a little calm. So those two kind of go hand in hand in what I'm excited about. In terms of being really stressed, I don't think I'm too stressed about anything right now. I think I will be in the short future. Like, I'm just anticipating like invites and getting those out and getting the RSVPs is something that I'll be a little stressed about, but I'm honestly not going to focus on that right now, because I know the end outcome is going to be the best thing I've ever imagined. Last question from you guys was a piece of advice to future brides. I feel like I've given a lot of advice, but I'll leave you with one more piece of advice, and that would be, do what you want to do. This day is about you and your fiance, and you should be able to enjoy and soak up every moment. No one else's opinions matter but your own. As long as you're happy and you're doing what you want, stick to it. I would say be mindful in a sense of other people. Know that you sort of are asking a lot of your guests to spend a day, spend money, people that are traveling from far, things like that. Like, be mindful in that sense, but at the end of the day, this day is about you and you should enjoy. Anyone that is trying to hinder that by giving their unsolicited opinions, being shady, being rude, ignore. I would say that, because there's been some moments where you have so many opinions coming from, you know, other people, and it really just comes down to what you and your partner want, because you're only doing this once and it should be what you want. So I'd say let go of outside pressures. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters. Let me know how you guys liked this video, what you found helpful, what you're gonna need in the future from me. If you're a future bride, comment down below. Let's be besties. I'm here, girl. Congratulations. Let's party it up. Things coming down the pipeline for me, what you can expect from me. Vlogs regarding DIYs, my bridal shower, my bachelorette, last minute preparation for the day of. It is crunch time, ladies and gents, and this is going to be a wild, fun ride, and I cannot wait. Thank you guys so much for supporting me throughout this journey. I cannot thank you enough. It's been amazing. As always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up to support my channel, and of course, I'll be back with more videos soon. Love you guys. Bye.